Hello, assalamu alaikum everybody. Hope you're all safe, sound, and healthy. And today it is hot. It's really, really hot. It's been hot for many days, as you may have heard in my previous episodes. It is so hot that can you imagine that even Windows 10's weather is showing the temperature going up, and it's showing a very hot weather. Well, I mean, it's actually 38 degrees. It goes up to 40. I don't know why, but although 38 to 40 is something that we face every year during the summers, especially between June and July. So June, July, August, basically. But June, July is, July, August, I think, if I'm getting my months right, are the 2 months when we get monsoon. But then we get rains before monsoon, and then we get the monsoon rains, and then we get the after monsoon rains. So it kind of balances things out. But the worst thing is that in the last few years, including this one, we are getting hail and hailstorms in April, May, mainly in May. But when it comes to the ending of May towards June, the humidity becomes so bad. In fact, if I remember right, was it last year or the year before the last? It was. We didn't even see the transitioning from, winter to spring. It was directly winter to humidity, pre-monsoon and then post-monsoon, and all the way till about September, November. Yeah, November, I think, October or November. Till then, we had extremely hot, extremely humid weather, and it was so bad. And this year also, although we actually had a bit of a transitioning, but it wasn't much. There were hailstorms and everything in May, but you could say spring really didn't come properly even this year, because in spring, as you know, all the bugs and the insects, they all come out. But we didn't see much of bugs and insects, to be honest. And the few bees that we have seen, they've been dying, basically. The heat is so bad. It's not just the heat, actually, it's the haze, it's the smoke. We've got haze and we've got smoke, and it's all thanks to this stupid government that every time they come, they just create disasters for the environment. Imran Khan's 3 years of struggle to, work for the environment, to give back Pakistan its natural greenery, has once again been met by these clowns who, in less than a year, have again created such a disaster, such a crisis, that we have the worst weather conditions ever. Whoever said climate change is wrong, they don't even know what they're talking about. See, actually, there are two reasons that go simultaneously for climate change, and we cannot refute either of these, okay? One is that this is a global phenomena. It has been going on for centuries, for millennia. So it's basically, it's the earth. It's the earth's cycle. It's life cycle. When we will always have, the ice age, and then the ice age when it all melts down, and then, the continents shift, and then water level rises or water level decreases, and new lands are found or new lands are drowned. So this is all part of the it's all part of the earth's phenomena. It's natural. So yeah, drastic climate change throughout history, it is just a part of the earth's natural evolution, right? But at the same time, climate change has also been drastically affected by our people, by the way we have callously treated the environment around us, the way we have unbalanced the harmony of nature. That sort of quickened the pace and made things worse. So, for example, the ozone layer having a tear, and then, us polluting the atmosphere to such an extent that now we are almost in a semi-permanent, situation of haze and smoke. It's like you literally can smell something burning. It's like as if somebody just put fire somewhere near you, and you can smell the smoke. this, it's literally smoke in the air, and it's literally, when it's haze, it is so bad. I mean, you cannot get out. I mean, it's 38 degrees and you cannot get out. It's humid, it's hot, it's beating down on you. And it's worse because you see, in countries like ours, we don't have central heating or central cooling. It is a good thing in many ways, but it's a very bad thing in the essential reason that, for example, if my room, I've got the AC on, and if I leave my room to go out to the kitchen or to go to another place, in less than 2 seconds, I'm drenched. I'm drenched in sweat that is caused by extreme humid conditions. And by the time I come back into my room, it will take me again another 5-10 minutes just to cool down. Okay. And it is so hot that before, it didn't matter how hot it was, because we had the internal, you could say, plumbing. So we always got cold water. But now we had to close down the internal plumbing and shift it all to external. And so you can imagine the kind of water we get when it's in this weather. It is boiling hot. It's boiling hot. And that by the time we I mean, by the time you're like almost finished to shower, before it used to happen that by the time, like, the first 5-10 minutes is boiling hot, and then it becomes really cold, fresh cold water. But now it's like, by the time you have almost ended your shower, and it's only increased in its heat intensity. But for the past 2 nights, luckily, I've found cold water. I could have some cold showers. But again, it doesn't really matter, because within an hour or two, you start getting drenched in sweat again because of the humidity. The humidity is so much. You can't keep the AC on 24/7. That is absolutely wrong. It's not even good for your health, because by the time it's when you by the time you've gone in and out and in and out and in and out of that cold room, you could get you're already sick now, because hot cold hot cold hot cold, when you go through these two things, it sort of unbalances your whole body temperature, and obviously that makes you sick. You would end up with a stomach bug, or you would end up with with just headaches and fever and flu and cough and just your every common cold. And this cold is basically because of the intense heat, and then intense cold. So you go through two extreme temperatures within minutes of each other. So there is that as well. And this summer, like every summer, I try to beat it, especially for my parents, because it's not that you can't say that they're getting older or I'm getting older. It's not that we're just getting older, but it's also that, let's face it, the temperatures are increasing. The intensity of the heat is increasing regardless of the temperatures. You can say it, put it that way. I mean, even at night, the temperature, instead of cooling down, sometimes it actually rises all the way up to 40, 39, 40, even at night. So just to cool everybody down, what I do is I make lots and lots of cool drinks. Nowadays it's apricot season, and because in our summer house, our trees that are about decades or maybe a century old, they're pretty old trees, and they bear lots and lots of fruit, and very good fruit. It's organic, it's all organic. So nowadays it was apricots and apples. So when my father came back from the summer house, he brought with him loads and loads and loads of apricots. And as you know, when it's organic apricot fruits, or like apricots, you don't get them all in premium condition. So some of them are plucked when they're still unripe, and then we wait for them to ripen up. Some are too ripe, that they've become squishy and soft, and they're like almost gone. Some are in okay condition, and because of the hailstorms, many of them, their outer skin, it's sort of been blemished and bruised, some even hardened. So what we do is that, for a large quantity of the squishy ones, we make jam because they're extra soft and squishy. And then for the unripe ones that are ripening, we leave them to ripen. It's so hot. I mean, that's the whole. It's so hot. They'll probably ripen in a week. And then the other ones that are in, semi squishy, semi good, very very they're all very very juicy. I make, I just make juices out of them. I just make drinks out of them. So I will mix plums and apricots like I did last year, and then I would put loads and loads of ice and cold water, and blend it all together and make a juice out of it. You can put sugar. You can actually, it tastes very much like lemonade. It's amazing. It's a wonderful lemony taste, but at the same time a bit sour. So if you add a bit of sugar and a bit of salt, you can get that lemonade sort of a thing out of it. So I do that sometimes I add only sugar, because it's at the end of the day, it's a bit sour when you make drinks out of it. So even if you put sugar, you get that lemonade sort of thing. I don't put extra sugar. I don't put too much sugar, especially since my parents are diabetic. So, I have to be careful. I try to make salty drinks. One of our most made drinks in Pakistan during the heat is from false. So we use falses. These are kind of berries, and they're eaten a lot. They're very good for your blood. They're very good for your sugar levels. They're very good for your. They're very good antioxidants as well. So they're basically just all around very good. So false ka sharbat, we call it false ka sharbat. These are like blended drinks that we make. So again, you put loads and loads of cold water, ice, and false, and then you add a bit of salt. If you want sweet, you add sugar, or if you want salty, you add salt. Amazing drinks, keeps you cool throughout the day. Or you can make different kinds of milkshakes, like apple milkshakes, the green apples that we got, because they were not yet ripe, but my dad plucked them anyway, because our neighbors, in Pakistan, especially when you go to the villages or the mountains or stuff, people, they just go around plucking stuff from every tree of that belongs to, it doesn't matter who it belongs to or in whose land it is. People are just freestyling it all over. So before the neighbors could just empty the whole thing, my dad decided it would be better to pluck these apples. And you know what, even though they were unripe, they were not sour. It's amazing. I was thinking that even though they're absolutely totally green, and they're unripe, and yet they are sweetish. So imagine if they were ripe, how sweet it would have been. So I make milk. I usually end up making milkshakes out of them. Then the green apples. When we have mangoes or strawberries, then we make strawberries. What we do is we get them by we usually tend to get seasonal fruits like strawberries and mangoes and all by loads. And we normally don't freeze mangoes. It's very rare that we would freeze mangoes. But this time, because one of our mango trees also bore fruit, so we got some of those, and we made milkshakes out of those as well. And then what we do tend to do is we tend to freeze berries like strawberries and falses, and I even froze apricots and plums last time when they came. So yeah, you can freeze almost any of these fruits, and then you can use them throughout the year, throughout. Whenever you feel like, you can make juices out of them, you can make smoothies out of them, you can make milkshakes out of them. So yeah, basically that's what I do. I always keep at least 2 to 3 jugs of sweet and salty and sour, and all kinds of these drinks. So whoever feels like drinking anything, there's always something in the fridge to keep everybody cool. When if it's watermelon in season, what I do is that I just crush the watermelon in the blender and I make a smoothie out of it. So basically, I don't add anything to it. I just add a little bit of water so that it can blend properly. But it in itself, it produces so much water. So just cut watermelon chunks, put them in the blender, add some ice, add loads of ice, add a bit of salt, a bit of black pepper if you want, or nothing. I actually don't even need to add sugar, because at the end of the day, it is so sweet. Because watermelon has sugar as well, obviously, and it's so sweet. So what I do is I add very little sugar if needed, just to balance it out. And I add, if you have, black salt, because black salt is one of the best things you can use in the summer, for lemonade and for lemon water and, for, watermelon and all, black pepper, black salt and all. You can add that. But, it's just to taste, just a bit. To me, I find that just very little goes a long way. Basically, you just crush the watermelon in ice in a blender, okay? And you've got the thickest, richest smoothie ever. So I used to give the kids that a lot, my sister's kids, during the summer, and they would just gulp it all down. And another thing that I used to do when we had loads and loads of fruits is I would make huge individual bowls of fruit cocktails. Now, normally in Pakistan, we make fruit chaat. That is a kind of a fruit cocktail. It's basically you mix all these kinds of fruits together, grapes and bananas and apples and mangoes, even whatever it is you like to. Actually, we don't usually put mangoes in chaat, but I put mangoes in my version of cocktail. So that's the beauty of it. So you put any and all fruits and you make a fruit chaat out of it. In fruit chaat, there is a certain masala that you add to it. So you add sugar, salt, pepper, black pepper, and red pepper, and then and then you add a bit of chaat masala, and then you mix it all up. Okay, so it's you get that spicy, tangy, and at the same time sweety taste. It's all mixed up. But what I do is that when it's really hot like this, what I do is I just cut up all the fruits in individual large bowls, and in this way I can add any fruit I like, the fruits that you normally don't put in chaat because of the masalas. You can put it in this form of cocktail. I put mangoes, I put watermelons, I put bananas, I put grapes, I put apricots, I put plums, I put everything and anything I can get my hands on. Even if I get kiwi, I'll put that. If I get locust, I'll put that. And then when you put all of that together, and then you just freeze it, just chill it in the freezer. And then anytime anybody feels like eating it, you have chilled fruits, absolute pure chunks of fruit, that you can eat without anything added to them, without any salt and pepper, without any sugar, nothing, just pure unadulterated goodness of fruits, and all chilled. So strangely, actually, everybody liked that too. I thought the kids would not like it like that, but the kids loved it too. My parents also. In fact, it became such a habit that I ended up making it so much like that, because sometimes they would actually crave it. So yeah, the trick is to chill it, really chill it. It has to be, especially if you have mangoes and watermelon in it. Amazing when you chill it. Chilled mangoes. Imagine, diced up chunks of chilled mangoes in your mouth. Yeah. And then another thing that I would do is I would make lots of strawberry and berry blends. So I would add apricot, strawberries, plums, and I would make a blend of it. Or I would add strawberries to mangoes. Yeah, it goes well. But mainly you could add strawberries and falsas and apricots and plums. They're like one big family, one big happy family. Sometimes you can add it to watermelon as well if you want to make a blended smoothie of all of these together. And my take on the yogurt smoothie is basically what I do is I put you know for example, I'll put what it's a 1-1 ratio, you can say. So one ratio of milk, one ratio of yogurt, and one ratio of ice, and then a little bit of cold water, and then whatever it is, the fruits that you want to put in it. So yeah, it's the same. You add mint too. Yeah, we always add mint because we have homegrown mint as well. So we add mint to the drinks, keeps everybody extra extra cool. Yes, you can even add mint to your watermelon smoothie and your blended drinks. Yeah, even if you just want to add a sprig at the end, that's what I usually do. I put a sprig at the end. But when I blend some of the juices that I blend, I actually, especially with lemon oriented juices, or apricot and stuff, then I actually do blend mint with them. Amazing kick that you get out of it. And yeah, there's also um I think I once, yeah, one of the lemonade versions that I made was ginger lemonade. So basically, ginger and then lemon, uh, lemon juice, water, and mint. Oh, it makes it so satisfactory when you drink it. That sudden kick, that just jolts you, wakes you up, and at the same time it cools you down, and it's just amazing. So yeah, you can experiment with really anything and everything that you like. Don't think that these fruits don't go with this or those fruits don't go with those. I kind of do these kind of weird experiments. They always come out right. And they come out right when people come asking for more. So try to keep cool this summer. Oh, thanks to the budget announced by the government, I mean, there are things that we took for granted, that now we cannot even, that most of the people cannot even afford. Again, like these fruits, these seasonal fruits like apricots and apples and watermelons and stuff. These were things that we took for granted. You just find them so cheap and so easy, and thanks to this government, nothing's within reach. So in this case, nowadays, falsas and shatut and all these berries that are locally found in trees, on trees everywhere, people go around plucking them because they're abundantly available. And then there's jamun that's abundantly available and all. But really, um, the fact that you cannot even cool yourself down, because see, one of the most common drinks in the heat is lassi, right? We have the salt lassi and we have the sugar lassi, and they're both equally tasty. The salt lassi, it really is actually more beneficial than the sweet one because it gives you your much needed salt that your body has lost by sweating throughout the day, throughout the summer. And so it's again basically, you add yogurt, you add water, and then ice, and then sugar or salt, and then you just blend it all up. That is basically how lassi is made. And but now, now the fact that people are going to even have a problem just to be able to cool themselves down by drinking lassi. Those in the villages, as I said, in the villages it's still okay because they grow their own produce, they make their own stuff, everything is organic, everything is available. But in the cities, it's the people who came from the villages to the cities to look for work, and their lives are already hard. They have never seen, I mean, as I said, in the villages they have no concept of buying food. Their whole barter system is on food. They work in farms, they get paid through wheat and rice and whatever it is that they're helping working with or harvesting or cultivating. And they have an abundance of food there, an abundance of organic, very good food. So when they come to the cities, it becomes very, very hard for them because city life is not like that. As you know, it's all over the world. City life is the same. We have to go and purchase from the markets, and then we have to, and it's mostly, uh, GMOs or, uh, basically not organic. And then you have to then also see how expensive they are because of the inflation and everything, because over here it's not bartering with food, you're actually using money to pay to get stuff. So things have become very difficult this summer, and I think it's a miracle if people even manage to get lemons to get make lemonade, or to, I mean, many of us, we tend to make yogurt at home as well. But again, you need milk for that. You need milk in order to make yogurt. So milk has become expensive as well. But I mean, it's just a mess. It's just a hot mess. Let's see what happens. We can only hope and pray because apart from that, I don't think our people are capable of anything else. Although they had woken up, but they've gone back to sleep. So, but yeah, um, the heat is really beating down on everybody, and people, as we know, every year the levels, the intensity of heat or cold increases. In our case, it's mainly heat. The levels of cold has not really increased, but the levels of heat, the intensity levels have increased. And it's very bad. It's so bad that you can say each year we're hitting a new record compared to the previous years. And if Lahore is right now already 38 degrees, imagine, and 40 degrees, it goes between 38 and 40 degrees. So imagine what's going to happen by the time we hit July and August. I mean, this is June already, and thankfully it's the end of June. Oh, that's another thing. That's the weird thing I've noticed. Have you noticed how every time the year starts, we before we know it, we're in the middle of the year already. I mean, we just had the new year and now we're already in the ending of June. And now, because it's so hot, we're eagerly waiting for this whole, month, the next 2 months to just pass by us quickly so that we can get some good weather again. But the truth is, when these 2 months will pass and we get good weather, we're already towards the end of the year. So the years are passing by like months and seconds. As you know, in the Quran also it was mentioned that soon time will speed up in such a way where months will become where years will become months, and months will become weeks, and weeks will become days, and days will become hours, and hours will become minutes. And that is exactly how it's been for the past few years. Actually, it's been like that for the past 15 odd years, but it's now increased even more. It's increased even more. The speed has increased. So yeah, we just greeted the new year, and now we're already trying to rush through to get good weather, which means we're rushing through to the end of the year. Before we know it, it'll be the end of the year again. So much for life. Well, wherever you are, hope you're all safe, sound, and healthy. Hope you can beat the heat. Sometimes just water isn't enough, because what water does is that you still end up feeling thirsty, but you're bloated, your stomach is full, and your thirst isn't quenched. And that is why we actually look for different ways to add something to water. For example, we add cucumbers to water, we add lemons to water, or we make these drinks. The main point is that people should be able to stay cool throughout the day, because it is getting more and more difficult. And with the taxes imposed on us, and the electricity, you cannot stay in the AC for 24/7. It's a fact. And even if you are in the AC, it becomes more dangerous health wise, because then you're prone to getting sick. You get the flu, you get catarrh, you get cold, whatever. You get fever, you get diarrhea, you get typhoid. So I mean, there's a lot of these things that begin during this kind of weather, because of the heat, especially those who are constantly who have to constantly be exposed to this heat. They mostly end up, with the typhoid and jaundice and stuff, and it can be very dangerous. So stay cool, stay safe, stay blessed. Khuda Hafiz.